Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about the apparel industry. Apparel industry used to be one of the booming, I would say, businesses in Sri Lanka, exports in Sri Lanka. So what's the future? What's the present status? We are going to talk about this with Mr. Felix Fernando, Group Director of Omega Line. Am I correct? Did I introduce you properly?
Correct, yeah,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Felix, now every time we praise about our garment exports, our quality of garments, right?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, apparel industry, is it same what we saw it then and is it same now?
I would say direct answer no. See, let me go back a bit to the history of the apparel industry in Sri Lanka. Actually, we had this handloom industry way before, but after 1977, once the open economy was introduced, especially after the introduction of the free trade zones, the industry became a bit sophisticated. And that's where earlier we were producing mainly for our local consumption with the handloom, and bulk of the things were imported. And also the consumers over the years have been demanding more and more. Their consumer taste has been changed. So what happened was in Sri Lanka in 1977, after this thing, Katunayaka, Biyagama export processing zones came. But the real boom in the industry came only after early 90s. What happened was, you can recall 88, 89, there was this second South revolution, youth revolution, and with that there were so many social problems in the country, and then President R. Premandas, I think they have studied what the main cause of that, and they have found youth in unemployment in the rural areas. So that was a solution. So he created this program called 200 Factory Program. So with that one, only the factories went to the village. Earlier, the people from the village used to come to the city, whether it's Katunayaka or Colombo or some other zones. But now, they were able to stay in their home places, was able to travel in the morning, go back home in the evening, and to some extent that helped the social. There were several issues when the apparel industry started here. There were several issues were there because of the lot of freedom were given to these rural girls, and they did not know about the country. They did not know about the society.
Lot of society issues,
yeah, and people, there were a lot of abuses. But this was really worked the other way around, and they were very happy. So if you look at even today, only about 30% of the employees in the apparel sector are working inside, within zones.
Okay.
So the balance girls are working not inside the zones, through the country in different factories. So again, some other changes happened, because until 2004, end of 2004, the industry, the worldwide textile industry, was balanced with multi-fiber agreement. We call MFA. So each country was given some quota.
So the quota free came.
Exactly. Now, 2005, since 2005 January, that system got abolished.
Yes.
And we have to be, nothing is sure, nothing is permanent. Previously, we had a lot of people, because we had enough quota. So they came, the investors, they came, and they had to, and our labor rates, wage rates were cheap also. So a lot of advantages were there. But with the abolition of the MFA agreement, what happened was that we had to go beyond. We were not anymore price competitive. There were several countries have emerged, like Bangladesh, Cambodia, even Pakistan, even India for that instance. So they were, and especially a lot of African countries, sub-Saharan. So they became very competitive. So today's industry, so apparel industry is completely different. In Sri Lanka even, yes, I mean everywhere in the world it's a labor-intensive industry, but we have understood because of the cheap labor, that's not the country. Sri Lanka is not a country for that. We can't compete only with the cost. So that's where the delivery, the schedules, the fast fashion, we have to supply for the fast fashion. Because consumer, I mean, he sees, say, from a fashion show, they introduce some new styles or whatever. So previously, it used to take sometimes 10 months, 12 months for that design to come to the market. But now, the customer can't wait. They wanted, yesterday they seen, they wanted today in the market. So that's where you can really sell. If not, the time matters and, the product becomes outdated. You are not able to sell. So that's where I think Sri Lanka has an advantage because we have proven we are very good in delivery, meeting the delivery deadlines. And also the quality, we didn't have bigger issues compared to other countries. And also the human rights or the worker rights, and that's also we were the
clean this thing came
yes,
on, right?
what we call apparel without guilt.
Yes,
I think that's something that we started somewhere around 1997. I think we were the first country, we were the first manufacturer in the world to go with that label, and that earned a lot of respect, and that brought a lot of customers or the brand owners to Sri Lanka.
So it's not only technology that mattered, it comes with the human value also, right?
Yes, correct. The reason is actually is not the coming from the brand owners, but there is this consumerism, and there are a lot of consumer activities groups.
Yeah.
So they are demanding. They want to make sure that whatever, because they accuse it's again all politics. See, a country like USA. Earlier, they had all these sweatshops, whatever they call. They did the production in those countries. But because of the cost increases, they moved to other countries. And what happens? People who used to work in US or in the European countries, they lose their jobs. And the proud citizens of those countries, they think, these business people, they are going for somewhere else. So we have to look at whether they violate the human rights there. I mean, because they are losing jobs. So for that reason, they have started all these things. And I think there was a famous issue in Pakistan. I guess it's for Nike. It's for the sports items.
Yeah.
They were using child labor, and that was a huge issue. And they were compelled to cancel all the orders and stop the sourcing from Pakistan. But in case of Sri Lanka, I think, sure, I had to admit, when we started initially in the late 70s, early 80s, probably in the early 90s also, there were also a lot of people, they have come to the industry for short-term goals. Or some people, because they are free quota, they take small order and they sell bulk of the quotas, and maybe they were really aiming at the profit maximization. And during such period, we had over 1,300, 1,400 manufacturing companies, apparel manufacturers. But after the quota system got abolished, withdrawn, now we have only about roughly 275, 300 active players. So which means that the people who are serious only, they remain in the industry. The people who want to earn a quick buck and they disappeared. Yeah. And they didn't have, motive was only short-term profits.
Short-term profits. So there was Sri Lankan women, the apparel industry actually gave a lot of opportunities for Sri Lankan women, and now the men and women both are working in the apparel industry. But still we can see skilled employees, right? I would say skilled apparel employees, women, especially the female staff, is going abroad for the same job sometimes, to work in an overseas garment factory. Whenever I ask them why you get the same salary here, why you want to go, even sometimes they leave that well-paid salary and go as a housemaid. What do you think? Is there just attitude to go out, or is it they pay more? What is the reason for them to leave?
There could be many reasons. Money is, of course, a factor. Money is, of course, a factor, but it's not the only. Because good that you raised this question. Because we also had, when I was the chairman a few years back of the Sri Lanka Apparel Exporters Association, we wanted to, because we see this stigma in the industry, the country, that people don't like to work in apparel companies. They think that's people look down on that job. So they used to give them different names like Juki operator, garment girl, all these things, without
Garment
understanding,
carrier.
garment carrier, without really appreciating who they are. I mean, I just wanted to share, because I think I have shared this in many forums, many interviews, but I think still, because when the COVID-19 came also, we realized, but still the message has not gone. And not only for the let's say maybe the rural people, not for the uneducated people, but also the big shots in the society. I'm talking about the professions like doctors, even civil servants. I think they haven't realized how important these apparel sector employees are for the economy.
Very true.
They thought, this there. I mean, whether they are there or not, the country will move. These are only temporary jobs. They are just taking some fabric from abroad. They are just stitching and sending. There were some people who used to say also that we are making underwear to the world. We are not just making underwear. We just make the world's best underwear brands. Okay, whether it's Victoria's Secret or whether it's our own brands, Intimissimi or Calzedonia. So I think people who travel, they see that, when they see it's made in Sri Lanka. But
then the pride we get it, that's the thing. You are very correct.
Yeah. On top of that, the material benefits. You see now, really, during this pandemic, I think everybody realized, and I'm glad, I don't like the COVID situation, but I'm glad during this process, a lot of people were convinced how important this industry for Sri Lanka. I mean, where the government, the authorities has asked all the people to stay at home, they made this an essential service, the industry. They were allowed to work, they were asked to open the factories, keep the factories running in order to run the economy. I mean, if not for the industry, the country is still facing a lot of problems with the foreign exchange, etc. But at least, this industry, plus whatever the worker remittances we are getting from people who have migrated, who are working overseas, those two are the main things which leaves the country running. We have lost about $4 billion per year from the tourism industry. Of course, I hope that industry will come back soon with a big bang. That's our wish. But a lot of people, I think I'm telling these people from the high societies, even the school principals, teachers, that's a completely mistake. Because I have personally spoken with some principals, some teachers say, don't do this one. Like maybe they say, okay, you study well. Okay, if you study well, you can get into a good job. If not, you'll end up working in an apparel factory. Okay, become a garment girl. But I'm very happy, I think about a few years back, that we facilitated some students and some teachers from the government schools. I think they were under the Ministry of Education because they have included this textile manufacturing sewing as a A-level subject. And they were started telling, what is the value added once you get a government job? Okay.
85% of our income goes to pay for the government servants' salaries.
Exactly.
Right? This is the true thing in Sri Lanka. And we are blaming the politicians.
Exactly.
So people doesn't know about it, I think.
And so this whatever the earnings they make, and also not only for the girls, what is the money circulation within that society? Because we have seen, this is from my own experience. 21 years back. So when we were setting up this factory in a place called Sandalankawa, that, lot of coconut land, abundant, nobody's interested. I think no, just nothing. It's like a desert, jungle. But the moment we started, and after about few years, the land prices have skyrocketed. Okay, there are a lot of although I don't like this three-wheel business thing, but how many three-wheelers? How many shops around? So that whole area has converted. Even, for example, in Biagama zone, if you look at the Biagama zone, because in the late 80s, I used to work at Biagama zone. I mean, after about 20 years, I visited there a few years back. That area.
It's something different.
Yeah.
As you say, that it's not just the apparel industry. What apparel industry has opened up is a new economy and opportunities.
Exactly.
But I feel that apparel industry leaders also has a responsibility to show the success story of apparel girls who are being working as, because they come as helper. They become a trainee, they become a first grade machine. So there is like, you can go up to a supervisor, and some are production managers, and some has gone overseas to show that. So the career path is not there, because I go for a lot of programs for schools. So the teachers always say, we don't want our girls to same thing. So I was looking at it and thinking, whatever the labor, whatever the job, whether the CEO or the road cleaner, we all need them.
Exactly.
But the same people who doesn't want to do this job here will go overseas and clean toilets.
Exactly.
Right? So doesn't apparel industry leaders also has that responsibility to show them that this is what apparel industry is? Don't you think we should do?
I guess you are right. I mean, at least partly right, correct, because that's where about 2 years back, actually 2-3 years back, we started doing something. I think that had a huge success, at least within the people who work in the industry. We divided, maybe this program, we call it as image building program, into few parts. One was the worker, one was for the influencer, and one is for the general society. Because influencers are the people like parents, family, like what you say, the school teacher, school principal, or maybe a clergy. So they go to the temple, they go to the kovil or church or whatever. The priest used to say, Dua, what kind of job you are going to do? Okay, don't go for it. So this thing, brainwashing, or not really brainwashing, you have to tell the truth, the fact. Because it's not correct to say that apparel people who work in a country where we have 22 million people, not all the 22 million people can become the president. Okay?
Or the
not
doctors, lawyers.
See, similarly, even in the apparel industry, there are a lot of people who join us as machine trainees. They have sent to, we have sent them to a lot of international trainings for the different countries. Now they work as like top technicians. I mean, when we started, we had many foreigners to work as technicians because they lack the skill. Especially we work with the underwear business, very sensitive, and we lacked skills. But we trained them, we developed them, and 13,500 employees we have, and we manage only with 3 foreign technicians. Just 3 foreign technicians, that is the overall, they don't go. But we have developed, and some of these girls, maybe they have started, I know, at 2,700 rupees salary, 2,300 rupees salary way back in 1999 or something. And some of them, they draw closer to 200,000 rupees now per month. And they have achieved many of their dreams. And not only those, and some people, okay, like I told you that not everyone can reach the top, but halfway through, maybe at the leaders, team section in charges, or maybe even they are still working as a machine operator. But their economy, their personal economy, their family economies have grown. They didn't have any houses with the benefits the industry is offering. I can't talk about the whole of industry, but in our group, our company, whether it's housing loans or helping the scholarship giving for their children, So with that one, I think we can be very happy that we have helped not only the employees, but not only a family, the whole society.
So there is a societal development. When an employee get developed,
Exactly.
the family get developed, the family goes to the society.
One more thing I forgot to mention. Not only that, we provide not only our company, but bulk of the industry. They provide the free transport.
Yeah.
They provide the meals. So that again another business, another employment opportunity.
Opportunities.
So some entrepreneurs, another business to be built. So how many, when you say that, how many, for example, we run about closer to 400-500 buses to transport these employees. Cooking breakfast, 13,000 breakfasts, 13,000 lunches. Okay.
Yeah, it's not
so
easy.
It's all, so that,
So there are so many suppliers, so
Yeah.
many, you have made a lot of entrepreneurship for people.
Exactly.
So it's just that we look at, we say it, no, we look at the small this thing and we don't see the big picture. Then
Correct.
we make this thing. I would like to ask you one thing, because now the COVID.
Will you
yes,
excuse me?
yeah.
Can I just, I think I didn't answer one of your questions directly about these same people going abroad for the.
Yeah.
So there were a few things. What we have noticed was like there are some sector in Sri Lanka, because you are involved in the women in management, the big guru. So some of the girls or some of the females, they don't want to stay in their family. They don't like.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons, even to do the dirtiest job in the world, they will leave the family.
There are a lot of personal issues.
Exactly.
And environment issues and domestic.
Exactly. So this is one problem, one issue. That's why they go to work as domestics. But there are also some cases like what you said. They know, for example, now there is some of the European companies, I know they are Eastern European companies, they are offering the machine operated jobs.
Yeah.
So they say you can earn 100,000 rupees. Maybe in Sri Lanka, mostly on average, they earn 35 to 40,000 rupees. They say 40,000 rupees. And there they say they advertise, they get 100,000 rupees. But they forget the fact, what's the cost of living there?
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, I would say personally, they will be able to save something even out of that 100,000. Okay, in a country like Serbia or Croatia, okay, they are part of, some of the countries are part of EU now. So the cost of living is not 100,000, is I think it's about $400-500 US dollars. So that's hardly enough, but it's attractive. But they decide, okay, let me go work for about 2 years, 3 years and come back. They also tell, sir, when you come back, can you join company again? Because we want to get something, we want to help our sisters get married, we want to help our father to build a house, so maybe that's something we get. Yeah, there were several people, they are in touch with our HR department. Maybe they have gone to temple to work in Dubai, maybe some Jordan, some other companies, and after that they'll join. So that's not that they want for the temporary, they wanted some money, and that of course not only our sector, even tourism sector, that we don't have problem, we encourage. So in short term they can get, but not to live there, go as a domestic. No, I don't think that we can approve that one, because I think there are much better things here to do.
Better things.
And they deserve a better life than to work as a domestic.
Yes. My last question to you. With the COVID, what will be the future of apparel industry?
What we have seen is, now most of the European countries and Western world, okay, we are expecting another wave or whatever, but they are open. And we have seen a surge in the orders, because people have been frustrated staying inside, staying home without their best hobby, that is shopping. Now they are waiting. I mean, they have already started. And we have seen certain orders that even we can't do. If you look at the whole country now, it could differ from product categories to categories, but the fashion, what we do deal with fashion, underwear, fashion, certain things, the country can't cope up with the
Highest
orders.
demand, yes.
One reason there also is that we haven't really gotten out from the COVID, even the vaccination, and whereas most of those countries, they have gone to certain extent. They are open, close, open, okay, whatever we said. But we still, our factories still work with, I would say, 75 to 80% of capacity. Because still people get with our health guidelines, health rules, someone gets positive all the time. But I'm glad that, at least by now, probably about 65, 70% of the apparel industry employees have gotten at least one dose of the vaccine. That's a good sign. And I think we hope before end of August to make it 100%. So then I think we'll be able to have less problems with the continuation of operations. And if so, that we'll be able to get much needed foreign exchange, because 20% idle capacity means we are losing 20% of the foreign exchange. As you know, the government is really struggling now.
Yeah.
Really struggling.
Not only the government, the whole country is struggling.
In fact, I think we were called by even the new finance minister what are problems and how we can bring more foreign exchange. But see, of course, we are very happy. I'm sure that by next year it can be even grown. We don't have certain continuation of policies are important. That's one of the main reasons, because a country like that, what we showed of them also, a country like Vietnam, a communist country still, okay, who went to the war with USA some years back. But still, they have got into free trade agreements with Europe. They were almost to get into this US one trade agreement. The name doesn't come to my head at the moment, but they are very smart. They have tackled that political pressure very well, whereas Sri Lanka is, known as a democratic country, following better human rights, all the rules and regulations, but we are unable to. Probably, I would say that we have certain lack in handling these diplomatic relations or whatever. Because if a communist country like Vietnam can cope up, do and grow, because few years back, I think the apparel exports was even less than $1 billion.
I think we need to get the negotiation skills of diplomatic negotiation skills.
Exactly.
This, as you said. So the time is actually very tight, but I would finish this like this, Felix. Whatever we said and whatever we done, garment industry, I'm supposed to say apparel industry.
Yeah.
Apparel industry is the survivor for us now. That's the only way. And we should look at it positively, and we should look at it as another employment opportunity, another category, and not just blame game or putting the apparel industry, not only the garment, I would say the apparel worker, but also we had to look at the people who are actually given opportunities. So that's a message we should give it to our community, because when the second wave came with this, we started blaming the whole of apparel industry, right?
Correct.
And I think that was the punishment we were given back for the third wave.
Yes.
I think we should not be, because it's a sickness, right? It's a disease. It's not, you cannot blame something like which we have no control. What is your final message to the society from the apparel industry?
Like you also earlier mentioned, I think everyone who contributes to the economy is an asset to the country. Like what you said, whether it could be a medical doctor, a political minister, a civil servant, teacher, a machine operator in the apparel industry, all are doing equally an important job if they do their job properly. Productively. And these people, most of the people, because we have seen during the COVID, they have become tougher.
Yeah.
First wave, they were little afraid, worried. Even they didn't want to come. But I think most of our industry friends, they have explained the consequences the country may have. So they have become like really we call soldiers in the economic war. Yeah. We consider them as the soldiers in the economic war. And they are quite proud now. Most of them are proud. They
our
fight
saviors.
Our saviors. Yeah. And they fight with their families. Sometimes their parents are afraid that they will bring the COVID disease or to their homes or whatever. But they say, no, it's better, it's more safer. We go to the factory and we stay. That is more safer. We are guaranteed better because we are being taken care, with all the health requirements that they are carrying out. And also, I know most of the industries, they never gave up. Even they have got caught to the, they became a positive employees, positive COVID cases. They look after them, they taking care of their families. Most of them, I'm not saying 100%, I'm not generalizing, but most of them who were able to afford, I think they have done this one. And I think we need to look at this has to come from the country's education system, because if people are not encouraged to think freely, think new, relearn, unlearn, is very important, because I think the school system plays a huge role. I would conclude with this one, because we are saying we are a developing country, we are a early third world country, developing country. I guarantee if we don't change our education system, after about 100 years,
we will still be
developing. Yeah, of course, there will be material things in the country, because the world will be anyway further developed. But still, compared to that world average, we will be still a developing
country from our attitudes and minds.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Felix. Today we spoke about the apparel industry, and Felix said, unlearn and new learn, that matters. So we'll have a respect to ourselves and all to the people who are contributing to our economy. Whatever the, I would say, whatever the religion, whatever the race, and whatever the job position they are holding, they are contributing to our country economy. Thank you so much, Felix.
You are welcome, Sulo.